Oh, it's finally time, boys, for the Q&A. Man's got the cards printed out and that, ready to go, with all the questions that the Discord has given me. So, we'll start with question numero 1. Ooh, question number 1 is actually how did you come up with the TNB model? But I am going to save that for last, because that is obviously a classic one. So we'll get numero 2 up first. Is there anything you miss from your 9 to 5? I would say one thing that I miss, but not from my 9 to 5, I missed my Americani to the Domatron. And if right now you're watching this video, I am actually doing a 50k ACG giveaway for this video exclusively, and it's going to be out of my pocket, not with ACG. They're not fucking giving me any money for this or whatever. If you put a video on your story watching this video, yeah, with an Americani to the Domatron, and tag me at mattbergen.ig on your story, then you can be entered, mate. But you can't be entered if there's no Americani to the Domatron. So I'm going to wait till I have this, and I'll give you a chance to get your phone out. It has to be of this segment of the video, though. You know what I mean? It has to be Americanis all round. Can't be the end of the video when I've not got the Americani. Oh, very hot for my own good. Anyway, we'll get to it. I was only taking the piss. I mean, I'm not taking the piss at all. There is actually a giveaway. But anyway, moving on. Is there anything you miss from your 9 to 5? Not at all, mate. I don't miss the pay. I don't miss the hours doing something that I'm not remotely... Well, I was interested in Rolls Royce, maybe a little bit, but it wasn't my thing, was it? So, no, there's nothing that I miss from my 9 to 5. Let me try to think if there's anything niche. No, not at all. Next one. If you wasn't... I'm going to read this as it said. If you wasn't trading and still had to be an entrepreneur, what would you do in? Some sort of sales, probably, mate. Probably like sales for a company selling a product that I believed in. Probably what I'd be. Or maybe I'd try socials out if I wasn't trading. Like just socials on their own. Like maybe just try to build a brand off of some other niche. Or, you know what I mean? I'd probably be in a similar space, just with a different niche, I think. So next question. At what point in your journey did you learn to live in probabilities? Do you think this mindset is a gateway to becoming profitable, i.e. once you think the right way, the money will start to roll in? Someone knows what they're talking about, mate. Whoever put this is a legend, to be honest. Yes. So, for me, thinking in probabilities hasn't just leveled up my trading, it's leveled up my entire existence. Because, I mean, it's obvious. You don't take L's. Because you take an L and you think, oh, it's just probability, my wins are coming. Not that you get complacent and you think L's are okay, but you understand that it's part of the game. L's are part of the game. Trial and error is part of the game. No one wins on their first try, and if they do, they eventually fail later down the line, and then they retry and they win, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely think if you were to zoom out in terms of whole life, definitely thinking in probabilities is the #1 skill that I have in terms of like what puts me above others that are not thinking in probabilities. Because like people will be like, oh my God, that happened. Like, why did you not just like sack it off and do something else? Because I just know that you got to keep going and going and going and going and going. And yes, it did open the gateway to making money from trading, because you zoom out, you forget about your expectation, and you just play the game. Then time goes by and you're like, oh shit, I've just been playing the game for so long and now I'm getting paid, and you don't even realize it because you don't care anymore. You're purely thinking in probabilities. You're purely just executing the model, following the step-by-step checklist day in and day out, not expecting any results. The expectation has to be 0, then time will fly. Therefore, if it takes longer, you won't notice because you're just being in the trenches day in, day out. If it's shorter, you'll be gassed anyway because you're like, oh my days, it's actually fucking worked. Then if you get too gassed and you start expecting more, then it's when you start spiraling out of decline. So it's not just a thinking in probabilities and you're all sound. No. It's a constant battle of thinking in probabilities, not zooming into the micro, not thinking you need to go in the workshop to refine your model because you've had a loss streak. You know what I'm saying? So it's a constant, bro. For me now, it's less of a constant because, you know what I mean? It just is. But when you do get big wins, like recently, we've literally pulled like insane amounts of risk to reward. Went on a 5-win streak, made like 13R. This last month, we've made like, must have been 15R. Month before, 11, 12R plus. I had like 3 losing days on Forex on the month before on my accounts. So it's been really well, and it's hard not to get too gassed. It's hard not to think, oh, TNB is the fucking future. Like, it is obviously the future, but like thinking that I fucking cracked the code when I haven't. There's going to be a losing streak coming, like there is every so often, you know what I'm saying? Like, in the last 12 months, we've had 2 losing months. We've had April and October. What I notice is the losing months are never subtle. The losing months are like pure back-end destruction. You know what I'm saying? And then the winning months are like fucking classic. So, you know what I'm saying? We've had 2 losing months that have been peak. By peak, I mean like, I think April was minus 8R for Forex. Futures were up. So I'm only talking about the Forex market here. Futures were up, but let's just focus on Forex. So 8R, minus 8R in April. Then last October, it was like minus 10R or something. But then the months after just make up for it. So, you know what I'm saying? That's how the game works anyway. So probabilities, yes, I do think that is a gateway to making money. And as a bonus, I think it's going to help you in all areas of life. So definitely worth doing. When you went from unprofitable to profitable, how long was this period? And what are the biggest changes that you made to yourself and the charts? Good question, mate. So my trading journey went like so. I did maybe like 2 months of like just pure nothing. So guy with 100% win rate was mentoring me, lost loads of money. I didn't know about prop firms. I just knew about brokers. So I just depoted my own money from my job at a customer service spot at the council that is local to my town, just answering the phone lines, working from home 4 days a week. So I was doing that. I was unprofitable 2 months in, and I was like just getting scammed by this guy. Then I found TJR early doors, before he even had his boot camp or whatever, I'm pretty sure. And then I watched him for 8 months, unprofitable as fuck from him. And that's not, I always say this, I do mention TJR a lot, it's because I watched him loads back in the day. And I don't mean to hate him, it's just it didn't work for me, because I know it works for some people. I've got mates that are profitable with him, so no slate on him. But for 8 months, didn't work because he just gives you too much choice. There's too much, the door is open for your impulses to act because you have too much choice and too much control over your strategy for me. And it didn't work. It was too discretionary. I was obviously failing with targeting levels. I don't want to go too deep into it. You know what I mean? You already hear me preach about it all the time. Then I knew someone through an online business I worked at on the weekends who was profitable with a model that he learned from Will's FX. It was like just a break and retest, 15-minute. He kept it really simple. They only looked at the 15-minute and the hourly for bias, 15-minute for entry. It was very discretionary, but when I just said to him, I was like, look, no, this is all, like, TJR shit's all failing. Like, I've tried it back and forth, boom, spent like fucking thousands on fundeds and failed, and other mentors in the ICT, TJR space. Not working, bro. Please, bro. And this guy's called Ollie. Shout out to him. He literally saved me, to be honest, bro. I owe it all to that guy. He kickstarted me a good journey. I was like, bro, let me just copy your strategy 1-to-1. I know it works for you. You've shown me you got payouts. Let me just copy it, and then it'll work for me. Boom. He did it in a discretionary manner, but I took what he said very literally. So when he was telling me a strategy, I was actually writing a step-by-step with very specific things. Then as time goes on, we're taking trades. We're taking different trades because I'm like, well, look, this is the model. He's like, yeah, but that's not a good BOS. Like, that's not a proper one. I'm like, what? You told me a BOS from a fractal, bro. He's like, yeah, but it needs to be like proper structure. I'm like, oh. Then I basically just did the same thing. I branched away from his model, did the 15-minute model. It was 15-minute liquidity sweep, any liquidity sweep, from a 15-minute breaker structure, fib tool on the move, 0.618. He actually targeted fair value gaps that lined in with the fib tool. He then did a little bit different stuff as well. And then when I did that model, like, I mechanicalized it, but I didn't even know what mechanical trading was. I only found about that keyword recently from nerds on TikTok talking about it, which gave it a definition. I didn't even know. I just said fixed rules. It made sense for me just to do fixed rules. That's why I called it. But then I've jumped on the mechanical thing because it's a better keyword. It makes sense. And during those 4 months that I did that, after those 4 months, passed my first challenge, got my first payout. Then it kept rolling. Obviously, there's ups and downs during the whole period, but that's when I started making more money than I've spent on trading. After 4 months of trading mechanical, then I just evolved the model in terms of, like, this goes into how I came up with TNB, but fuck it, I'll answer that now, to be honest. I had this 15-minute model, whatever. There was really loose rules in terms of everything other than the actual model. Then what did I do? I wanted to be more specific with the times that I trade. With, okay, I'm just choosing random liquidity. How do I know which one's the most important? So let me just choose either session high or low, previous session high or low. Because there's only 2 of them. So there's either the high or the low. And then if you have a bias, then there's only 1. So there's no choice. I wanted to make it so there was minimal choice. So I had specific times that I traded. I had specific levels that I looked for. Obviously, the BOS stayed the same. I added in the fake out because that was a hole in the model, because I went from the 15 down to the 5. Found out that was more effective if I used the fake out. Then obviously the fib tool stayed the same. 1 to 3 stayed the same, but I did add the trail and stop rule. I also changed the stop loss. I changed news rule. Well, I added in news rules. I added in weekend takeouts. I added in my risk rules. The pairs changed. SL and TP did not used to be based on the fib tool. It used to be GU and EU, 10 pip stop, 30 pip take profit. That was the model. Changed all that. Didn't work because if market volatility was high one day, your 10 pips is looking small. If it was low, that's looking big. That's too not discretionary, but that's too variable. Doesn't match market volume. So then I changed it to SL and TP is relative to the fib tool. So that's how I kind of came up with the TMB. And then I added in rules and rules and rules. And now every single situation has a answer that is already predetermined so that you will never have to make any decisions in the market. That's how I built it up. So I've answered 2 questions in one there, I suppose. But the period, to actually summarize the answer, the period that I was unprofitable for was about a year and 2 months. And then I got enough payouts to pay for the amount of money I've spent on the game. So that is your answer, bud. Next question. How much and which pairs do you trade mostly? Would like to see a vid on that. So I trade, we've just taken out CHF JPY because the spreads are opening up way too much over the nighttime period. So it's just going to fuck us long term. And we're going to swap it out with something that has similar win rate, similar RR gain, just with better spreads. But we are yet to find that out. The 3 pairs at the moment that I'm trading with the majority of my capital, so 80% of my capital is going on this. Euro USD, gold, US 100. Then the rest of my capital is the Euro USD, US 100, gold, oil, copper, silver. That's the rest of my capital, okay? When did you have your when did you have your in quotations I made it moment, and how did that make you feel? When I went to Thailand, to be honest, and it's not even to do with the money aspect. It was more to the fact that, oh shit, I've put myself in a position where I could be unemployed 7 days out of the week in a foreign country that is hot, and there's the nice people, nice culture, and I can just focus on my business now and growing my trading and my socials and growing the team and mentoring more people and spreading the word about the model and just trying to deploy this vision that I've got. Yeah, I think that was it. That July of last year when I quit my job at Rolls Royce, made the move. That was it, man. Yeah. So about a year ago. What do you define as a profitable trader? If you make more money than you spent on the game, I think you're profitable. If you've only spent $25 and you made $28, then okay, give it a rest. But if you spent loads of money and then you've made it all back and now you're rolling it in, I would say that's profitable. I would say, yeah, having like funded accounts with previous payouts, like many months of payouts that have paid for all your failed evaluations and education that you've spent on the game, and money that you've spent on the education rather, I think then you'd be classed as profitable in my eyes. Everyone has a different definition. That's mine. How do you keep your mental in check during a losing period? Conversely, how do you keep your mental in check when you're hitting winners? So, good one. The reason why I keep my mental in check during losing periods is because I've had previous ones that I have all of my journaling, all of my data, all the screenshots, all the notes, everything, all of my data from those periods. So I know how I acted, I know how I should act, I know what I need to do, and I know when the wins should come, give or take, because it's happened years and years before. So I would say data is king. If you don't have live traded journaling data from previous losing periods, then just get back tested data. That's the best you can do. Live journaling data is king, like I said. So if you're not journaling every day, then this is why, because you can look back at your previous periods when you're losing or winning and see what you were doing and realize you're doing exactly the same thing and you're not in control. It's the market. So with a mechanical model, I don't determine whether I win or lose because I don't choose the confluences. It's already a preset thing. So that's why I don't care. A lot of the aspects, the reason why I'm level-headed all the time is because I trade mechanically, so the model does the work. So I kind of put my trust in the data, put my trust in the model, put the trust in the back-end work that I've done to build the model up to where it is now. And all of the data that I've got on all the pairs, everyone's winning with it. Everyone knows that it works. I know that it works. I just know that it has periods where it doesn't, as does every model. So I know that. That's why I stay level-headed. And in the winning period, it's a bit different because, like I said earlier, you get too gassed. But once again, it's mechanical, so I can't control if that keeps winning or not. So I think the same answer applies. How many months/trades old would you say is needed to be reliable data when backtesting? Is backtesting enough, or are you only truly satisfied when you've implemented the same results in the live market? Backtesting's enough if you have TradeZilla and shit, or FX Replay, because you can literally act like you are in the market. You can tick the candles as they're ticking 30 seconds at a time, minute at a time. So you can emulate a real market 100%. But I would say in terms of reliable data, 2 years plus per pair, I think is the start, because I've really started getting into it now. 5 years is really solid. 5 years is solid. 20 years overall on 4 pairs total added up between each other. I'd say that's a good answer to that question, because if you're just doing 6 months to a year, you can easily get caught a snapshot of a good period or a snapshot of a bad period. So yeah. I'm 17, I've been trading for 10 months now, and trust me, I would do everything at this point to finally make it. I discovered your strat, and I think it's finally going to go somewhere because I can gather real data. What is your advice for me, and can I make it in trading? What should my next steps be to get funded and payouts, because my parents stamped me so hard? You think mine didn't? My parents hated trading. They didn't want me to quit Rolls Royce. They hated me whilst I was doing this when I wanted to leave anyway. So I'm in the same boat as you, mate. Don't worry, I get it. But also, what do you want more? Do you want your dreams, or do you want to be liked by your family? That's something that you need to weigh up in your head. Can you make it from trading? Yes. I don't think you should be expecting payouts and wins and losses and ups and downs. Don't expect anything. Just play the game. You now have a model. Like you say, you traded my model. You can gather real data. I would say if you're 17, put in the groundwork, gather like 5 years of data, bro. Look at it, see what's going on, find pairs that are good and bad, isolate those pairs, get a plan, bro. If you're 17 and you can't get into the prop firms, have you got any mates? You know what I mean? If your parents can't do it, you need to find some mates or find someone in community, or fucking, I'm sure, mate, join my Discord and you can fucking pay someone and they'll probably sort it. But I would say, bro, have a plan on what you're going to do. Like, are you going to get 10Ks, 50Ks, 100Ks? Can you afford 10Ks? Can you afford 4 10Ks a month? If you can, then play the 10K game. Roll a 10K, keep playing it, do 1.66% risk until you pass. Might fail too, but on that third one, then you get the payout that pays for the previous. I would say just play the prop firm game, put your head down, get collecting data, stick to it, mate. I am going to have to go to the London session call because it is 8 a.m. I will continue this after the call. BRB. I am back. We have just done the London session call, and I'm going to get the questions back up, and we're going to back rolling on ting. So, what are the factors that decide if you will make it in trading, and the opposite as to the factors that will negatively impact your trading? I think schedule doesn't matter with trading. Like, if, for instance, you're working full-time, find an Asian session model then. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that every model can have opportunity to work. You just need to find one that fits around your life and your personality and your mentality. Because, for instance, if you're someone like me that can't really do the discretionary stuff, then trade a mechanical model. If you can do the discretionary stuff and you can rely on your mental early doors, then do the discretionary stuff. Like, you need to find a model that works for you. So I'd say, like, your ability to choose a model and also your ability to cut your losses early. If you, like, not on the charts, I'm on about if you've invested loads of time into a model that isn't working for you, don't just stick with it just because you put time into it. That's so stupid. Jump ship and actually change to something that works for you. But don't make that change too early. Make sure you've done your due diligence and actually, like, you know what I'm saying? If it's just not fitting with your mental, then jump ship, defo. Is it worth trading on a 10K account? Assuming you're talking funded, it's definitely worth it, but it's not going to change your life. Just use that 10K to buy bigger challenges, to get bigger accounts, because the 50s, the 100s and the 200s is really the life-changing money. What is the most important mental lesson you have learned in overcoming day trading, thinking in probabilities, zooming out and looking at the macro perspective, and not looking at each trade as an individual trade and more looking at it as just a part of the mechanism that will eventually unfold? Opinions on the tap and dash and how to overcome the mindset of pulling out early. If you don't know, the tap and dash is where, like, it'll just tap, get up to your TP, and dash away to stop loss, like a 2.9R reversal. How do you overcome the mindset of pulling out trades early? Doing the back testing. If you've done your due diligence, I've said that word 1,000 times today, in back testing, then you will know that over a long period of time, pulling out early does not work. So you need to see the data for yourself. You need to go in there and collect all the data and run through hundreds of hours in back testing on the market. And you'll know that pulling out early over a long period of time never works in terms of RR gain, with my model at least. So honestly, just doing the work in the back end will make it so you can have the mindset of not pulling out early. What made you start trading out of all of the side hustles there is? I tried all the other ones, failed at all of them. Then I wrote down a list of every single way of making money that I knew and wrote down the benefits and cons of all of them. And trading had the most benefits: scalability, live anywhere, low maintenance. What my perceptions of trading were anyway were above everything else. So then I just jumped into it and I said, I'm never going to quit until I make it, because everything else I quit early. Do you think the TMB model is finished, or are you always looking to refine it and make it better? It's not finished. There's definitely more niche rules that we can add or refinement to the rules, but I would need a lot, I need a lot of data to prove to me that that is a good change. Like, we don't just make changes willy-nilly. So yeah, it's not done, nothing's ever done, but we're not making changes every week. These are like slow, progressive, we're really zooming out. Cole's got a lot of stuff on the 15-minute that he's going to make big impacts to. That's going to be his whole separate thing. But in terms of me, not looking to change anything right now because it's not broken, don't fix it, but there definitely is refinements to be made. What motivates you daily to keep pushing harder? The fact that I've not got what I want. Don't have the GT3 RS, not staying in 100k a month Airbnb, don't have all the watches, I don't have the millions, so I've not reached my goals, so why would I stop? How do I fully submit to probability and understand more effort and input doesn't lead to better outcomes? You do the back testing, you understand what works. Honestly, a lot of these questions can be answered by doing the back testing, but for some reason you guys are really scared of doing it. Like, it's literally like a couple of hours a night, chip away at it, bro. It'll change your entire game. Like, I'm not saying it for no reason. Like, a lot of you guys are just avoiding that. You know what I'm saying? It's easy, bro. What prop firms would you recommend for under 18-year-old that wouldn't need to verify age? There's none. So you need to just either find a way to avoid KYC in terms of finding somebody else that's 18 or just wait. There's no prop firms that you can't do KYC. And that is the last question. Hopefully, boys, you've enjoyed the first ever Q&A that I have done, because I have enjoyed it viscerally. I am fucking enjoyed right now. Can you tell how enjoyed I am? I'm going to get back to the crank. Hope you boys have enjoyed this video. And as you boys know, Discord is in the description. Get involved. That's where I'm most active. That's where you can see me live trade. That's where you can learn the TMB model most effectively. Peace, love, unity. See you boys in the next one. Peace out.